Okay, I thought I would review with you here what I made, which is a blade guard for this old Craftsman joiner. When I first got this, acquired it from somebody's estate, and the blade guard was lost. Anyway, so at first I thought, I don't need it, I'll be all right, keep my fingers away, right? But after using this a few times and passing stock over this to joint it, and just seeing these three blades spin at some 5,000 and 5,800 RPM below my fingers, just a few inches away, I was like, yeah, I really need a blade guard. So, took the time out to do it. I think my fingertips are well worth it. Just to show you how it's made. This is just a piece of half-inch plywood, and this here is a half-inch bolt, a couple of screws, and a nail for the tension on the spring. So to remove this, I can remove the fence, and then I can just release the tension off of this. But then I gotta put the fence back on and square it back up. Same thing for installing it. I could take the fence off, put it on there, twist it, get into position, then put the fence on. It'd be kind of wonky, and then I gotta square the fence up and everything. So I'll lift up the blade guard a little bit here. Take the tension off of the bolt as so, and you see the guard just fell down. And then there you have it. So there is inside there a spring with a piece of metal that this fits over on top of, and that's what provides the tension. You see it's still got some wet wax on there, with a lubricant or some wax. So I cut this bolt, the slot in this bolt, using my the cutter wheel, my handheld angle grinder, right? And that worked very well. I'll just say it's not for the faint of heart to do that. I would rather have had a metal cutting bandsaw to do that. And I drilled a hole here for this nail to go through. The nail, I filed the head down so that it's kind of T-shaped, so that way it fits flatter on top of the guard here. Before I drilled this hole, I annealed the bolt, heated it up red hot, let it cool down, and slowly, and that way it removed the temper from the bolt that it had and made it much softer to drill through. And to drill that, I used this. So I put the bolt in there. I cut a slot with my bandsaw here. This is a half-inch hole for the bolt to fit through. Cut a slot with the bandsaw, clamp that down with a wood screw, and then right close to the edge here, I drilled a 1/8 inch hole for that bolt, or make that hole there. And this is just I think it's an 8-penny or 10-penny nail that fits in there. So then I polished it up a little bit, just for looks, not necessary. The stop for these, I originally thought about using like gluing on a piece of wood, but I realized it was unnecessary, so I just used a couple 3/4 inch wood screws, and that's sufficient. Half-inch hole for the bolt, but it was really snug, so I really needed like a drill bit that was, say, 33/64, but I don't have that. So I used, if I can find it, I can check it out right. There it is. Used an old bolt, or not bolt, but you could use a bolt. Just an old drill bit. Have some sandpaper on there, and sanded the inside of the hole a little bit just to make it a little larger, so that this just spins freely in there, right? And then for the underside of it, I have this washer here for 1/2 inch bolt that keeps things spaced back here where the bolt goes into the hole. But then I also put 2 strips of wood here that are, I think, 3/32 or so thick. Just put them on there with some double stick tape and give them some wax. And what that does is it keeps things elevated off the blade. I figured out that this was a nice pathway here so that when, as this turned, as the blade guard turns, that soap opera thing, that stays out of the way of the blade. And up here, the other one here, holding at this edge of the guard, stays out of the way of the blade as well too. And this brings back just fine. Don't know what more I can say about it other than how I put it on, like that. And I lift this bolt up, turn the head of that nail that I ground down into a T, so it sits underneath the head of the bolt. And turn the bolt slowly into position there. Tap it down. And there you have it. Looks like a charm. And I'm very glad to have this guard now, so I don't have that thing spinning at 5,800 RPM right underneath my fingertips. And chop on my fingers. That's it. Have a good night. Remember, drink more or drink less. One or the other should help. But don't drink too much or too little. Celebrate. Thanks.